Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Manthology Show, Manhood. Let's find it together. In today's episode, youthful innocence, curb appeal, hard truths, memory lane, and listener feedback. Josh, Derek, welcome to the show.
Oh, buckle up your man buckles, because it's about to get weird.
Gentlemen, it's good to be here.
We're excited about this episode 3 of the trilogy here in the Manthology Show. Of course, I'm kidding. It's much larger than a trilogy. But this is episode 3 nonetheless. To start our show, Josh and Derek, we kind of tinkered with this idea when we were in the drawing room, if you will, of the Manthology Show, carving it all out.
The blueprints.
So I'm just going to ask each of you straight up, what's one thing about work you didn't appreciate as a kid?
Oh. Well, I mean, I know for me, I wildly underestimated how much adulthood would suck as a child. I thought it would be bad. I didn't know it would be this bad. So yeah, there's the one thing. I thought, it'll be great. Boy, was I wrong. That's one thing I didn't appreciate, is just how much it would blow.
So Derek is not happy with adulthood, Josh.
Nope. I was sold a bill of goods, Blake, and I don't like it.
Josh?
That's a good question. I think, there's a lot of things that, if you like what you do, there's a lot of good things that come from being able to do it. And I'm fortunate enough that I enjoy my job. So I guess I didn't realize the professional satisfaction that you can get sometimes as a kid. That's something that I guess a lot of people don't have, but I feel like I'm fortunate and I enjoy that.
So, as a child, we don't appreciate that.
As a child, you don't ever think, oh, my goodness, I can't wait till I'm in my 30s and I'm working in marketing. I'm just going to love it. I'm going to love running campaigns.
But you actually do,
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy what I do. So there's that, professional fulfillment and things like that I get. Yeah.
I'd say two things come to my mind. As you're a kid, most kids, I was included, you fantasize and you dream up these jobs, astronaut, fireman, policeman, these exciting, jobs, at least for little boys. And you don't realize just how much monotony is in adult life.
Oh yeah.
And not so much with with I don't know what it is. It didn't seem like there was as much monotony when I was a boy. I mean, certainly when I was a teenager, but yeah, I didn't appreciate that. And so I think that's why it's really important to go all Snow White on it and learn how to whistle while you're working, while you're enduring monotony. So it sucks to wait in line at a grocery store. There's that great video years ago called This Is Water. Did you guys see that on YouTube?
Mm-mm.
Oh, really good video about David Wallace Foster. Can't remember. He's a really renowned writer, and he did this video talking about monotony. So I think that's one thing I underestimated. But then at the same time, I kind of felt like, hey, if you don't become an astronaut or whatever, it's going to be really sucky or boring in marketing like Josh or whatever. I didn't realize how much fun you can actually have as an adult. I guess we kind of view our adults, our parents like, stiffs. Blah. Right. So it's cool to grow up and stay young at heart and be proud of it and say, man, I'm having just as much fun as I did when I was a kid. So.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that is just perception in your attitude, I mean, everything could suck if you have a crappy attitude about it,
So Derek, I'm curious, you haven't liked your 20s or 30s,
No. Here's the thing. I wasn't actually that crazy about childhood either.
So you're a pessimist. We're dealing with a pessimist here.
Well, here's the thing. I loved my 20s. My 20s were the greatest decade of my life. But as soon as it hit 30s, it's like everything just changed. And so for example, I just hung out with some friends last night, and they were friends I've known since I was a kid. We went to high school and college together, and and I realized this last night as we were hanging out, that the only thing we do when we hang out is tell stories of how much fun we used to have, but we don't actually have fun anymore now. My whole life is looking back on how much fun I used to have. And I'm not even that old. Like, I'm 32, and yet I'm like, oh, you remember that time? And we tell the same stories over and over, and we laugh. And I miss the days of randomness when I would wake up and not know what the day was going to hold. Now I wake up and it's like every day's the thing about adulthood is that every day is a race. You're chasing something, and I'm just so tired of that race. I'm so tired of like constantly having to be on this treadmill, and I don't even know what I'm chasing, but I know I'm supposed to be chasing it, and you never really make any progress. You're just spinning your wheels, but the status quo, that is adulthood. You work this job and pay this rent, but don't get too excited because next month rent is due again. It's just I don't know.
You feel like it's Groundhog's Day.
It really is. Adulthood is Groundhog Day.
Well, dude, Derek, you sound like I think that's awesome that you had a good awesome 20s. I certainly enjoyed my 20s. You sound a little like Carl from Up, where you just need to go out and have new adventures again. Well, maybe that's what it is.
Here's the good thing about adulthood. I've gotten to do so many cool things in adulthood. Like I get to travel, and I go to Europe, and I do all these cool things, and that's awesome. Travel is awesome. But the thing is, that is the vacation from real life. It's called a vacation. That's not real life. That's your break from adulthood. And so adulthood is like 300 days a year that are really boring and lame so that you can have fun for like 60 if you're lucky. Whereas when you're younger, those highs aren't as high, but the fun is more spread out, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just don't like it, all right?
I think, Derek, I think you're going to change your tune. You probably just need to find your groove again. You got to find the groove, your calling, and it's there somewhere. It's there. It's out there.
I think also it's a key point of what this show tries to address is becoming an adult. I mean, we talk about becoming a man, but it's really about becoming an adult in my mind. And yeah, there's a huge transition and difference going from your 20s and into your 30s. It's a different set of rules. It's definitely a different playing field. But yeah, I mean, that's just part of the journey. You got to figure out how to make your own fun and turn your 30s into your 20s in some way. I don't know.
Reinvent yourself, Josh.
You got to
reinvent yourself every day.
Well said, Josh. Okay, fellas, I got some breaking news in my corner of the world. This just in, I'm feeling pretty inadequate about my lawn. I'm looking out at it right now. There's like these small little weeds. They look like mini wheat.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar
plants.
with those.
I got some crabgrass. Apparently, I got these weird dark patches that look like cool grass, but they're just patchy.
Oh, wait, I just saw a picture of your lawn the other day, and it looked like you were gardening and you were doing some things there, and you had the nice little flower bed.
Thank you. You're right. That's my wife's job. She's in charge of the flower beds.
Well, then she should be feeling inadequate about the lawn, not you.
Well, okay, and here's another thing. Like I'm overall, this is kind of a new feeling because I really don't tend to care what other people think. And I mean, we all do in a little bit. That's what makes us human. We're social. But I'm usually pretty good about just saying, hey, I don't care. I do what I want, wear what I want, stuff like that. But with the lawns, maybe what's making me feel inadequate, I got these professional lawns all around me, even from good friends.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm feeling pressure over here.
So I'll skip the whole story, but my lawnmower crapped the bed a couple of weeks ago, and so my grass grew to about 3.5 feet tall. As I was trying to stumble through my mechanic skills and fix the lawnmower, which, by the way, I still have not fixed. So I finally broke down. I called this kid. He came over, did a bang-up job on it, and I was like, well, I've definitely got time to get the lawnmower fixed before it needs cut again. Here we are, about to go out of town tomorrow. My grass needs cut. I spent the rest of the morning out there trying to fix the lawnmower again. So I can relate. My neighbors on both sides both have immaculate lawns, and it makes me feel very childish when I pull up in the driveway and I'm situated between two professional-looking golf courses, and I've got the wild jungle growing in my backyard right now.
Do they do the thing where it's like they brush the lawn so it looks like there are stripes, like lines in it?
No, they don't. Yeah, they don't go that far. It's not like a major league field or anything, but definitely, I have no business owning a house in between these two people.
It's weird. Like it's weird to me. Like how much freaking work it is. Like it's
so
much work.
It is.
They're like, well, you got your 4-level fertilizers, and you need to thatch it, and then we have to.
I don't even know. Like it's
Yeah,
just
I'm not even that advanced. I'm just trying to get my grass cut and keep the weeds down. Like, this is very basic maintenance I'm talking about.
yeah.
You're lucky the kid you sent to cut it came back alive. There's like velociraptors hiding in your high grass.
Yeah, no, I asked him how much he was going to charge me. He kind of looked around and went, dude, yikes. Like he had to think about it for a while.
Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like
Yeah.
I don't
is
know.
big.
Yikes. So
wow.
You know what? Everyone tries to kill the dandelions. Blake, do you go after them?
Hate the dandelions.
See, I love the dandelion, and it's because it's this little like yellow. I don't know. They make me smile, and I think dandelions are like, to me, they're like the Pluto of flowers, because they're not. But come on, they kind of are, right? Like they're cute little. I don't know.
No,
saying they
Derek,
don't
once
get
they
the
take
respect
over,
they
once
deserve?
they take over, Derek, it's a nightmare.
That's true. Once they're out of control, you're right.
You got to nip them in the bud.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, moving on to a more, I did want to have. This was a bit of a controversial talking point that I had recently with some family. Well, I'd say it was a good, healthy, intellectual discussion. So we're gonna transpose that discussion. We're gonna take it online here, right here. We're gonna tackle this issue right here on the Manthology Show. Okay, we ready, gentlemen?
lay it on me.
All right, I'll ask you first, Derek, and then we'll jump to Josh, and we'll get everyone's opinion on this here subject. I read this recently on Quora. Absolutely love the Quora.com. If anyone hasn't, it's basically a Yahoo's Answers that's actually really good by experts that you can trust for the most part. So this gentleman posted this, and it just made me stop and think. So true or false, gentlemen? Quote, everyone wants to be part of the 1%, but only 1% of the population is capable and willing to put in the necessary time and effort.
False.
Derek says false. Josh?
It's absolutely true. 100% true.
I like this. Okay, now you both enter the ring. Now, please, I'm going to referee. I'll step back.
No, you go first, Eric.
Well, I just feel like this is the kind of thing that people who have succeeded tell themselves to make them feel like they've done even more than they really have.
Okay. Some back patting then. Right.
There are a lot of people who work really, really hard. But here's another thing. This kind of ties into what we talked earlier about with adulthood. Another thing I didn't appreciate about it as a kid is how much of it just seems like pure dumb luck. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people who work really hard but never get the breaks. And you know what? If you get one of those breaks, that's great. It's not your fault. But you happen to maybe know the right person who knew the right person who put in a good word for you. You didn't really work any harder than the other applicant, but because they didn't know the right person or have the right thing or whatever. Like, I don't know, so much of it just seems to be to chance. And, let alone the nepotism involved with a lot of this. Like, the Waltons are part of the 1%, but how much of that fortune did they actually earn for themselves? I don't know. I just have a problem with this idea that the system we have right now with, so few having so much, it's like that because they really worked hard.
All right. Well,
counterpoint, Josh?
There are a lot of extremes, and you're right. That's a very pompous sounding statement that he read. But I do believe in, I don't know, man. I think the proof is in the pudding a lot of times. I mean, your efforts, there is some luck that goes into some things, but the ability to put yourself out there, make yourself available, capitalize on situations, market yourself, network yourself with the right people. That is all part of work to me. I mean, that is all part of what it takes to be successful. So, while that statement is a bit, hard to swallow for some people, I do think that for the most part, the cream rises. That's one of the great things about, this country, capitalism and competition in and of itself. So, I don't like the way that statement is worded, but yeah, I absolutely do believe that for the most part, you have the opportunity to make yourself.
Josh, are you accusing me of using overly extreme and generalization in an effort to ignite a discussion?
What? that's like we all know that's not how the internet works.
That is not how I or the internet work. I'll say this. I feel like this is a fun talking point, but this isn't a binary. There's not a binary solution to this.
Yeah.
Because Derek, you're completely right. There are hardworking, blue collar, even white collar people, or underprivileged people, or minorities, or females that have a tough time catching a break, and they still work really hard. But at the same time, I can understand Josh's point, because I truly believe 100% in the idea of the harder I work, the luckier I get. And I've had bad breaks, but overall I've had good breaks, I would say. And I think I'm a pretty hard worker, not like an amazing worker, but in my life that's been true. So that's how I try to balance this idea out, that, and I'm trying to teach my kids that, like, look, you can just throw your hands up and say, well, there's nothing I can do, the system's rigged. Or you can believe, and no, work hard, and then, luck will kind of find your way. It's not going to all work out. You're not going to get exactly what you want, because no one does.
Right.
But I feel like it kind of takes that ownership, and that's what I like about that idea of, like, well, let me do the best I can, and maybe a little more luck will head my way if I do. So
I mean, there's balance in everything, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, you have a lot more control over things than I think people think that they do.
I definitely think there's something to making your own luck. I mean, luck definitely plays a part in it, but maybe there is something to being in the right position to take advantage of that luck. So in other words, making sure that if the luck is that, if you get that break, or putting yourself in a position that
you can capitalize on it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the cool thing is that I think we have to observe both perspectives. I think there's truth in both of the, depending on where you fall in line. Both those arguments, I think, have merit, and it's important that we have the Dereks of the world and the Joshes of the world to make sure, regardless of your perspective, that we're taking care of everyone. I think
there's always a middle ground.
Yeah. Oh, fellas, let's. I want to do a new segment, starting with this episode. I want to take a stroll down memory lane with you, fellas. You guys want to follow along?
As I said, Blake, that's the only place I spend time is memory lane.
All right. So is there? I mean, and I'm not fishing for anything. I haven't really come across anything. But have either of you, in the last week or since we started the show, encountered a blast from the past that just really made you, nostalgic and warm and fuzzy?
Garrett?
I mean, the thing is, all the things I enjoy are just inherently old anyway. So I haven't really I haven't added anything to my tastes from the last 15 years as it is. So pretty much everything I listen to or everything I enjoy is in some ways a blast from the past.
Yeah. I absolutely have something that I've been digging on lately, and it is the semi Guns N' Roses reunion. That has got me just on fire, kids. On fire. For those of you that don't know, I was the biggest Guns head from like third grade on, up until Nirvana came into the picture. And then after that, I sort of denounced them.
Allegiances.
Yeah, denounced them, whatever. Like I was like, whatever. And then years later, as an adult, I went back and started listening to it. I was like, wow, it's great rock music. So I've come to reappreciate some of my roots and stuff. And so with them announcing the tour and the semi reunion, it's been great around here. I bought tickets before they came out. I'm just hoping the Axel can keep it together until July.
Well, that's the thing. You bought tickets to a show that may not happen.
I know. So I bought the insurance. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm really pumped about that.
I will vouch for Josh's love of all things Guns N' Roses. I first met Josh as a middle schooler. What were we in, Josh? 7th, 8th grade? I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
Middle school. Josh, I mean, he embodied the motif of Appetite of Destruction. Like he was the living middle school embodiment of that look and that motif. Like you nailed it.
I was fortunate. I mean, like looking back, I would argue everything else being equal, Appetite may be one of the best rock albums ever. and definitely one of the best first albums of any band out there.
Debuts.
Debuts. Thank you. I was fortunate that at the time when it came out, we were living with my uncle who was young, and he got it, and he like burnt me a cassette of it. And I remember having this recorded cassette of Appetite and just literally wearing it out. And a lot of a lot of formation happened at that point. So
they were just
down memory lane.
They were so positioned well. Like they weren't at the time they weren't a glam band, but they appealed to the glam fans. They weren't really a metal band, but a lot of metal fans dug them. They were just they were right in the middle of all these different things that I don't know that, and of course they had the songs to back it up. So it just really worked.
Yeah. They were sort of the last big giants of those, arena rock bands too.
Yeah.
So
is it fair for us to blame Axl then for their demise, or is there more
to
it?
Of course.
Yeah.
He bears the brunt.
I can say that looking back, I can see why he did some of the things that he did in terms of like making them sign over the rights to the name and stuff like that. I mean, they had members leaving. They all had drug problems, and he was smart enough to think, okay, I need to own this brand, because these guys may not be around. So to his credit, I give him, a little bit of credit there of having the foresight to do that. But yeah, I mean,
okay, well Josh, I didn't hear the news. Is Buckethead on guitar, or is it actually
Slash,
Duff, and Axl? Yeah.
So just the drummer's missing then, the original drummer?
Yeah, but we don't want him.
Listen, I got news for you. Drummers are a dime a dozen. All right.
Well, I was part of the Matt Sorum camp, the second drummer anyway. So Steven Adler, the original drummer, he had a stroke. He couldn't physically pull it off now anyways. So they've got the guy that's been playing with him for a while, which he's really good. He plays a little too fast for me, but whatever. But yeah, I've spent too much time watching clips of these last few shows they did, and they sound great. Like it's better than I've seen Axl sound in a long time. He's lost some weight.
This isn't your boyhood speaking. This is objective adulthood speaking.
As
these guys
much as I can be. Yeah, I mean, I'll say this: like when I watch clips of them from the band from previous to now, when he was fat and he was out of shape, like he sounded horrible. But now his voice, you can tell he's lost weight. He's got in shape. His voice sounds really, really good. So, it's exciting. I'm
you know what? I'll back up Josh on this. I don't want Josh to get mad at me. I was never really a Guns N' Roses fan, because I'm like a metal guy, and it's a little light for me.
Right.
But I heard there are a couple things I really like about Guns N' Roses, and one, I love that Axl is a rock star jerk. Mm-hmm. I think the world
needs more of that.
Oh, listen,
it's a dying breed. It's a dead breed.
It is. And you know what? We need more rock stars like Axl Rose. I'm so sick of like bands today in this like Facebook age that they interact with the fans, and I'll be in the back after the show signing CDs.
I want them showing up drunk, high.
Yes.
So wait. Let me just soundbite this. Right here on the Manthology Show, Derek Buck says, to make the world a better place, we need more assholes.
Rock music should be dangerous, and Guns N' Roses were dangerous. I totally appreciate that about Axl Rose. And musically, the other thing is, I was, like I said, never really a fan, but I heard the song Civil War the other day. And Jesus, what a great rock song. That band, they're one of the few bands that, they had all that marketing behind them, but they deserved it. They were really good at what they did.
Yeah. My absolute favorite Axl moment in the history of Axl moments and Gun Roses is on Welcome to the Jungle. The bridge, mind you, when he's really high and he's like, y'all went to the jungle? Yeah. What does he say? I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean,
so
what a voice, though. Like, I promise you, any listener, go put on Appetite right now, and I mean, it is extremely well produced. And it's just a banging album, man. I've got a whole new appreciation for it now. It's great.
It's good stuff. One quick question. This is a mini blast from a somewhat recent past related to music. Early aughts for anyone out there. Who cares? Derek, is System of a Down metal?
Well, dude, we could do a whole podcast about metal genres and labels. They're part of a genre called new metal, but it's NU as in like fake.
Of course.
So like true metal fans would say no, they're not really a metal band. No.
So you don't consider them metal?
No, to me they're just a good hard rock band, with some of those new metal flavorings, but they're not what I would call a true metal band. No.
Gotcha.
I don't care what it's called, but I just love the juxtaposition of this really hard, aggressive music with this guy that's singing like an opera man over it. It's just
he kind of sounds like a carny at times too.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like a carny metal band.
Yeah.
So I heard that on the radio the other day. It was good times. And I wanted to ask you, because Derek is for any listeners out there, Derek is the quintessential expert on metal genres and metal in general.
We could spend just so many shows getting into all the different metal genres, but that's for another time.
We may turn this into a metal show.
we should do a bonus
ditch
episode
the man theme and just go right into a metal show. Okay. Derek, we got a couple of letters that I was hoping you could read on the show. Maybe we could quickly discuss them as we wind down this episode.
Yeah, so we actually got some feedback on our Facebook, which you can join us on Facebook at facebook.com/Manthology Show, from Jack Hubbard. And he actually sent some feedback. This ties into what we talked about on last week's show. I thought you guys would like to know that barbecue season has just hit here in the UK. I know you guys determined that propane is less manly than charcoal, and I agree with that completely. However, I'm undecided on whether it's more manly to have a beautifully made, shop-bought barbecue or to just cook your meat on a grill suspended over a fire between two loose piles of unsecured bricks. I think I know the answer, but could you guys offer some clarification?
He one-upped us there. I can't. I got nothing.
Cooking your meat over a fire I think that's the pinnacle of barbecue.
And the more dangerous it is with loose bricks and whatnot, even better.
I think making ill-advised decisions is part of being a man. So absolutely go with the loose piles of unsecured bricks. Yeah. And you know what? Your meat will taste better that way too. Because
it's got just a little hint of danger in it. And
you know what it is? It's the Axl Rose of grills.
There you go. To tie it all together in a nice, pretty bow. Yeah.
Like if it works, it's going to be great. But there's a chance the whole thing collapses.
There's a chance he's not even going to make it to the stage.
Right. You know what? I actually had a friend that was debating this very thing with his grill situation. He didn't want to buy this fancy grill. He thought that went against the very tenets of grilling. But he also, he didn't really have a yard to just build a fire.
Right.
So what he did was he got an old beer keg, and he like with a soldering gun or whatever. I don't know how you do these things. He cut it in half, and he made a charcoal grill out of a keg. And I have to tell you, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
That is pretty beautiful.
Yep.
If I could muster a tool time grunt, I would do that right now. Thanks for the feedback, Jack. Another one that came in that apparently our producer Wilson lost the name, so I can't attribute it to him. But wrote in, I've started listening to your show, and I think the subject matter is great. Thank you, anonymous feedback person. Per your recent discussion on masculinity, he continues, one of the oft-discussed themes of Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket concerns its potential as a harsh criticism of traditional forms of masculinity.
That's very interesting. I hadn't considered that, and I haven't seen that movie in quite some time, but from what I remember of it, that's an interesting point.
I saw it as a boy, and I just interpreted it as hoorah masculinity. I wasn't smart enough to get that he was actually, he had a little Trojan horse in there. I didn't get that part.
I didn't either, but again, it's been a while since I've seen it, so I actually like to go back and watch it.
I always liked Platoon better than Full Metal Jacket, even though Platoon was a slow burn. But I don't know. I kind of felt maybe Full Metal was better. We'll have to.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Here's my thing with movies. I don't like to watch really good movies.
Okay.
I've watched Full Metal Jacket, and I recognize it's one of the great movies ever. It's great, but I have no desire to watch it a second time. Whereas, like a movie like Stripes, I could watch 1,000,000 times.
Well, Stripes is a great movie.
But you know what No, like you wouldn't consider Stripes on the same level as a Full Metal Jacket.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Some movies that are just really, really heavy-handed, like it's hard to be like, you know what, guys, I really want to sit down and watch There Will Be Blood again.
Yeah.
Although it's one of my favorite movies and it's great.
Or Schindler's List too, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't go back and watch
Sit down on a
that.
Saturday afternoon with the kids and watch Schindler's List. Yeah, it's hard to get to the mindset of some of those really big, heavy films.
Yeah.
Even like Forrest Gump. I mean, you can't like that's like an Odyssey, and I just don't want to sit down for an Odyssey.
Yeah.
So I get you to a point, Derek, but then I'm going to counter you with Shawshank Redemption. I can watch that 50 more times in my lifetime and be very happy doing so.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I think I just like to laugh when I watch movies, and so I just watch dumb comedies and great comedies too. There are great comedies, like like you said, Stripes is a great comedy, but it just seems like comedies are never held in as high a regard as these artsy fartsy movies.
They're not, and that's a shame. That's part of the problem with the system.
Well, to this listener's point, I did want to bring up what I might consider. Now, granted, I'm biased because it's a recent movie, and we'll get into this discussion. We already teased the best action movies. We'll have to do this, but I got to insert Mad Max Fury Road right here as the greatest, like, amalgamation, if that's a word. It sounds like it should be.
Amalgamation.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I got close. That was a very man thing for me to do. So I think Mad Max is the perfect balance of celebrating machoism, but also championing the female heroines in our lives. And I love that. I love that I don't think he was critiquing the machoism. He was certainly making fun of the more grotesque sides of that aspect. But Mad Max was the sidekick in Fury Road, and he saved the day. But Furiosa was the heroine. She was the leader, and I loved how they worked together. I think it's an absolutely beautiful movie, and I think it's to date the best movie, action movie, certainly to encompass and welcome all genders and walks of life, and we all win together. That's my thought.
It is definitely one of the better, more recent action films. Yeah.
I think it may take the number one spot. We'll have this. We'll duke this out later. Stay tuned for a future episode of the Manthology Show. Gentlemen, we've reached the end of this episode. Josh, tell them how they can participate in an upcoming show.
Sure. If you like what we're doing here, please visit us at manthologyshow.com to become a patron. Follow us on Twitter at Manthology Show, or you can email us at men@manthologyshow.com.
For Josh and Derek, I'm Blake. Thank you so much for joining us, listening, and being patrons and supporters. Even if you don't support the show yet, hopefully, or ever, we thank you for spending your time with us. We hope to catch you right here on the Manthology. So next week, next Friday, we got a new show for you. Catch us then. Thanks.
But do support us.